This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY, and it's sponsored by Independent Bank. We always dedicate a half hour's worth of time here on a Saturday morning to talk about businesses and local things that are going on. And this morning we have, this is actually probably the first of its kind interview that we've done on this show. We've never actually talked to an administrator from assisted senior living or a place like that, and we have one here this morning. Susan Deal is here. Susan, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Susan is the administrator from Big Rapids Fields and is here to talk about probably one of the most difficult times in a son or a daughter's life is when it comes time to say, okay, my mom, my dad, or my grandma, my grandpa, whoever, can't really function at home anymore. So the options out there are massive. It can probably be very, very scary when it comes time to choose a place. So tell me about Big Rapids Fields.
So with Big Rapids Fields, I feel that the opportunity that I had was to show our seniors about totally customer service. It's about serving them. And that's what me and my staff feel that we have an opportunity to give that to them.
So tell me about Big Rapids Fields. Give me the thumbnail sketch, and as you talk about it, questions will come to my mind. So tell me what you would tell someone who is visiting the facility for the first time or actually making that first phone call to you.
So when they first come in, I kind of ask them, as you just said, is mom and dad on board with coming here? Because if they're not, it's going to make it very hard. And for me, when the family does come and visit, I always ask, can they come? The parent, can they come to the facility so they can come and check it out? And then we can get to talking. I explain to them that we're here to help them. We're able to make sure that they still have the independence, that it's not because they're coming to us, they're going to be locked in us. They still have freedom. They can go out shopping. They can still go to family members, but we're there just in case they need us. Maybe somebody had a fall. So we're here to make sure prevent them falls. Maybe they weren't good at doing med management. So now we're here to make sure that the meds are being taken care of timely.
It has to be one of the most reassuring conversations for someone because in many cases, like you just said, there may be resistance.
Yes.
They don't want to leave their home.
Yeah.
That's what they've known all their lives or for decades. So, you really got to sell it.
You do. And, so we had a lady that came to our facility and she just said, I said, well, what's the one thing that's holding you from coming here? And she goes, I'm afraid of losing my independence. And it's not that. We are here to make sure that they're still able to walk. They're not going to lose that. We're still able to help them to take a shower by themselves, but we're there to help assist them. It's more the assistance. They think once they come, they're going to lose everything. It's not. It's about the assistance. It's to make sure that they are safe, that we don't have falls. We don't return back to the hospital. We don't take the wrong meds and cause us go back to the hospital. But it's just making sure that they're safe and they still have the capability to go out with their families, to have fun.
For people who come and visit and maybe have never had the reason to visit a facility like yours before, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have?
I think for the older generation, it's they're confined. Their family's not going to come and see them. They're not going to have, the capability to go and watch their own movie if they want to. They're going to have to do what we ask them to do. And it's not. I think the one part is we don't want them to be left in their room. We want them to come out and socialize and try to get them more active in doing things with us, either eating or doing our gardening when we have that up and going, or doing activities. But if they're not wanting to do that, then we try to figure out how to get them more engaged, to get them more involved with it. Especially with COVID hitting, they're stuck at home. So trying to get them more motivated to be able to experience a different kind of living.
Have you found that since COVID became a thing last March, that some seniors have kind of withdrawn and become more within themselves and maybe aren't as social as they used to be?
So the seniors that came to us when we were still in COVID, I think they kind of liked it because they only had my girls to, because we just opened up in January. So the girls were with them all the time. And now that we're starting to build up our clientele, they don't like that they're not spending that one-on-one. But the one thing that I can say now that we can go and have their family come in there, then you see them starting to look forward to the family starting to come in to the facility. And then they can start going outdoors now that it's starting to get nice. So I think we're getting through that process of them not able to have contacts with their family. Now they can go outside. Even if we are shut down, they still can go outside and spend time with their family.
It has been an extraordinarily difficult and long winter. And finally, when things start warming up, I mean, generally, it's not just the seniors. It's all of us. We just, that things start to grow, the flowers grow, it's warmer, the sun sets later. We all feel a lot better about the world. But tell me, in last March, obviously everything as we knew it changed. What kind of things changed at the time? In the business, obviously you just opened there about 4 months ago, but tell me about some of the changes that happened in that business, at least to begin with, and how things have evolved in the last few months.
So for us, we weren't able to open when we were supposed to. COVID hit us pretty hard. And then we weren't able to have state come in because her family had it. So that kind of put a damper there. And then the people that we did originally have come into our facility, they found another placement because we weren't at that point where we could open out. And I just think a lot of people, because it took us so long to open our doors, they're not really knowing that we're open and we're running and we're at full scale right now. I know I have a few people that just drive by and say, "Oh, I seen your signs." So I'm hoping, just getting the word out that we are there, that we still have rooms. We're there to serve our seniors, and we would love people to come in and do a tour.
Where is the physical location of Big Rapids Fields?
So we're just outside of Big Rapids. We're right across from the Armory in Big Rapids, and right next to Ryan Creek Apartments.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about this is radio, so it's words only. So as we walk through the front door, give us an idea of the layout of Big Rapids Fields.
So when you first walk in, we have a sitting room. And the whole idea when we did the decoration with the owner buying the furniture and me doing the decor is we want you to feel at home. That is the whole thing. This is their home.
You chose the decor?
Yes.
Okay.
And the owner actually chose the furniture. So I didn't know what he was picking or they were picking, and it all matched. And people say it feels like home. And that is the thing. This is their home. We want it to feel like home to them. When you first walk in, you'll see the dining room where we eat at. And off on your right-hand side, you have your sitting room. And then also the patio where you can go out and sit. And on the other side is all the assisted living. We have 8 rooms of assisted living. And then on the right side, we have 12 rooms of memory care. So we do have memory care in this facility.
Explain, if you would, the difference between assisted living and memory care.
So assisted living for our seniors is they are independent. They can do things on their own. They just need a little bit of help of the med management. And like I said, doing their ADLs. For the memory care, these are people that are in the different stages of the Alzheimer's and the dementia. Where my CNAs and my staff that's been trained with that, we do a lot of the tippy snow techniques. And that's where we keep them from the beginning stages or to the end stages where hospice will come on board with us until it's time for them.
Tippy snow, is that a recommended Alzheimer's treatment? Is that what that is? I had not heard of that before.
She is actually gives you new techniques. So mostly with people that have dementia and Alzheimer's, doing bathing or any showers. It's very hard for them. And for Tippy Snow, she shows you how to do the hand under hand, that they feel that they're participating in it. So it's not such a struggle to give them the showers or feeding. And I just love how her techniques are. And that's one thing that we do train on. Some of us did go through the dementia training certificate, and gives us more ideas of how to handle them. Since we have such a high volume of memory care, I feel it's very important for us to have the training to make sure we understand the different stages of the dementia and Alzheimer's.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Big Rapids Fields, the services you offer, and maybe some of your staff and what their roles are and how many people work there. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with more Cadillac Unscripted. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. We're with Susan Deal, administrator from Big Rapids Fields on 107.9 CDY. Susan Deal is our guest on Cadillac Unscripted, 107.9 CDY, presented by Independent Bank. Susan is the administrator of Big Rapids Fields in Big Rapids, and we're talking about assisted living and also memory care. And you were just telling me during the break, Susan, that you're seeing a greater need as the days go by and the years go by for more memory care. Why is that?
Well, I think, with the dementia and Alzheimer's, I think people are becoming more aware of it. In the past, even for my grandpa, we thought he was just, getting older. And when we started seeing some behaviors with him and we went to a neurologist, they said he had Alzheimer's with dementia. And we're like, oh my goodness, we allowed him to drive. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we see that that's what he had until later down his stages. And then finally he passed away. But I just think with family, they try to do their darndest to keep them there. And yes. And I will tell you, during the break, we were talking about my grandfather who passed away in 1999. He was 83 years old. And his last 15 years were really rough. And the last 10 years were tough. But yeah, for about 5 years, he had been driving. Mm-hmm. But he was becoming more absent-minded. He was a very gentle person. He was about the most gentle guy you could ever come across. Mm-hmm. And not all Alzheimer's patients are that way. Some of them become a little more difficult, right? It does. And that's one thing that we do look at, when they come and do a tour, I will ask them, there's two things that we can't keep. And we can't keep somebody that's a one-on-one and a seeker. That means that they're trying to elope out of there. And if they're physically abusive, I can't have them beat my staff up, but yet I can't put my staff in that situation either. I still got to make sure they're protected. And some people that get through that dementia and Alzheimer's, they need to be more into a locked area where it's secured, where they can't get out and stuff like that. But for us, it's at that point where they're really not ready for them secured areas, but they still have that times that they're aware of where they're going and they still can talk. And you can see some days it's like, oh my goodness, they don't have it no more. But then there's other days they do. And it's them one times where they start getting to that point where they can't eat that much and they're starting to drool and they're just not able to swallow. And they know that they can do that. But that's where we're here to help them out. That's where we're here to help the family out. It is hard and you can't feel like I should have done more for my parents. I think when you put them in a facility like ours that is more trained for the memory care, you're going to see that difference. And you're going to see light in them when it does come, like, oh, there they are again.
We had something very similar happen with my grandfather. He probably was left alone in his house at least a couple of years longer than he should have. I mean, what my mother was so concerned about, simple things like turning on a stove and forgetting that you turned it on and,
right.
That kind of thing. So once the decision is made, it's almost a relief. It's like you have this door that you don't want to go through, and you need to go through it, and then once you've gone through it, you realize you made the right decision.
Yes. And, especially I've heard of 2 cases where their parents went outside and it was cold and they couldn't find them and they
Right.
passed away. That, I think that's the scary part, not knowing where your parents are at and you can't get a hold of them. And for us, that's where we're going to help. Like you said, it's going to be a relief that that somebody's there to take care of them 24/7.
Speaking of which, tell us about your staff. Tell us about nutrition and the kind of things that your residents do there.
So a lot of the staff that stayed on board with me since I came on board, they have experience from skilled nursing facilities. So our cook is a phenomenal cook. And she knows how to cook. One of our residents said she keeps tempting with this food and I keep gaining weight. And to me, she's got such a personal relationship with the staff. And for my staff of the CNAs, I have quite a few CNAs on board with us. And we keep them in the memory care because they do have that basic knowledge of how to take care of them and how to handle situations where do arise. And the training. I believe in training them. Not all seniors that come to us in the memory care are on the same page. Some are different levels. And if somebody's not familiar with that, then we do the training for them. Because it's always about the seniors. We want to make it as positive experience for them through them stages. And will it always be like that? No, but we'll do our darndest to make it happen.
You were talking about, seniors being at various stages. And also, I was just thinking about, your food preparer and your cook. You could have 10 different people and 10 different dietary needs too. So that's a big thing to juggle.
Yes. So right now we have diabetics on board. So we have to make sure we prepare the food according to their diet. And then we have a gentleman that's on a pureed. So we have to make sure. And then it still has to taste like the regular food. Because in the beginning, he knew there was a difference in his food. He's like, I'm not eating this. What in the wrong? But now, she's made it so it still tastes the same, and he just eats it right up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit. I mean, we haven't even gotten to how folks can get in contact with you and maybe schedule a tour. First of all, let's go back to COVID. How did people become familiar with Big Rapids Fields when you weren't able to bring people in?
So before we opened up, I would ask people if they want to just come in and tour, because we weren't able to have an open house.
Yeah.
And that would help bring people in to let you know what's going on in your facility. So I did ask a lot of people if they want to just come in and tour and stuff. But now that we have opened up, with the COVID, I have to be careful of only 10 people on there at a time. So the families have been very helpful of making sure I'm planning. So when I do a tour, I don't have that many people in there, and I'm able to have, maybe 2 family members come in and look at it and stuff.
I think that's a really important thing, to be able to bring as many family members in as you can to
Yes.
be able to see the facility, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Let's talk about how folks can get a hold of you and how they can take a tour and what the next steps are.
So our phone number is 231-598-9230. And they can just call. If I'm not there, the girls will take their name and number and then give me a call. And then I'll call them right soon as I get that message. I'll call them right away. And then we'll schedule a tour. I'm kind of flexible, so I can accommodate their schedules. I know a lot of people work different hours. So it's either me or my med coordinator will be involved in that.
Okay. Website, Facebook page?
So we are on
so-
Facebook page.
Yep.
Go into Big Rapids Fields Facebook. Follow us on there. And then our website is www.bigrapidsfields.com.
So before we finish up, let's talk a little bit about Susan Deal. How did you become to be an administrator at a facility like this?
Well, I've been in the skilled nursing facilities for about 16 years.
Okay.
As I said, when this opened up, my husband and I talked, and I just said, I really feel this is my calling to do customer service for the seniors.
Okay.
I see a lot that in skilled, sometimes it's a little bit structured. You have to get certain things done. For us, we can make sure that things are getting done in their time so they don't feel rushed. They want to enjoy doing what they're doing. And I feel this is my opportunity to give that back to our seniors.
So skilled nursing, you've worked in a hospital setting before.
More in the skilled facilities.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you just felt like it was time to do something that maybe you felt like you could make a difference.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, it's been our pleasure to have you here. Let's talk about, one thing we didn't talk about. We talked about all-inclusive. We didn't cover that yet. Tell us what all-inclusive means.
So all-inclusive means 3 homemade meals, med management, housekeeping, laundry. We do activities included. We have cable that's included in there, Wi-Fi. The only thing that is not included in that price is if they got their hair done or if they were incontinent and they didn't have no briefs and we had to provide them, then that would be a cost for the family on there.
Okay. All right. Very good. Give us that phone number one more time, Susan.
It is 231-598-9230.
That is Susan Deal, administrator from Big Rapids Fields, our guest today on Cadillac Unscripted. Thank you, Susan, for coming in.
Thank you.
We will have more local chat next week, same time, same station on Cadillac Unscripted, sponsored by Independent Bank on 107.9 CDY.